Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and a huge thank you to all the new viewers, subscribers, collectors, dreamers, and treasure hunters who love the world of old coins, hidden history, and unbelievable money stories. Today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and exciting stories in American numismatics, a story that proves that even the smallest coin in your pocket can change your life forever. Because this is the unbelievable journey of the 1974 1 cent USA coin, a simple copper penny that most people ignored, spent, lost, or tossed into jars, yet under extremely rare circumstances has been valued as high as $39 million due to a perfect storm of mint errors, production mistakes, metal composition anomalies, die problems, striking failures, and historical timing that turned an ordinary Lincoln cent into a legendary collector fantasy. And to understand why this coin can reach such an insane value, we must first go back to the era when it was born. The early 1970s were a chaotic time for the United States Mint. Inflation was rising, copper prices were unstable, production quotas were massive, and mints like Denver were under constant pressure to produce billions of coins as fast as possible. Speed became more important than precision. Quality control was stretched thin. And that is exactly the kind of environment where once-in-a-generation errors are created. The 1974 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and on the surface it looks like any other Lincoln Memorial cent. Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, the date 1974, and the D mint mark below the date. But collectors know that the most valuable coins in history often hide their secrets in tiny details that the average person never notices. One of the most famous and valuable possibilities connected to the 1974 cent is the wrong planchet error. During this period, the mint was transitioning metals and experimenting with different compositions. While pennies were supposed to be struck on copper alloy planchets, there were still bronze planchets from earlier years and experimental aluminum and steel blanks moving around mint facilities. In extremely rare cases, a penny die could strike a planchet intended for another denomination or another year entirely, creating a coin that technically should not exist. A 1974 cent struck on a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 composition, or even an experimental metal would immediately become one of the rarest mint errors ever produced, especially if it escaped the mint undetected. Another legendary error possibility is the double die obverse or reverse. When the die itself is misaligned during the hubbing process, the design elements such as the date, lettering, Lincoln's eye, ear, beard, or the words "In God We Trust" can appear doubled, not machine doubling, which is common and low value, but true hub doubling that shows strong separation and thickness. A dramatic double die on a 1974 penny would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery because Denver Mint double dies are far rarer than Philadelphia issues, pushing the value into unbelievable territory. If the doubling is strong, clear, and authenticated, then there is the off-metal strike error, which drives collectors wild. If a 1974 penny was struck on a silver or nickel planchet by mistake, the weight, color, and sound would be completely wrong. Such coins are instantly recognizable to experts, and when confirmed, they enter the elite category of 6, 7, or even 8-figure collectibles depending on uniqueness, condition, and demand. Another massive value driver is the wrong year die usage error. There have been historical cases where dies from previous years were accidentally reused or improperly dated dies were installed, creating coins that should not logically exist. A 1974 penny struck with a mismatched die or transitional design element would be numismatic gold. Then there are striking errors, like multiple strikes, where the coin was struck more than once with shifting between strikes creating ghost images, rotated designs, or overlapping details. A perfectly preserved multiple strike error on a 1974 cent would be one of the most visually dramatic errors imaginable, and collectors pay astronomical sums for such coins, especially when they are unique. Condition plays a massive role as well. A mint state or proof like 1974 error penny with full luster, sharp details, and no circulation where exponentially increases value. When you combine extreme rarity with pristine condition, you create a perfect collector storm. Another rare but possible mistake is a broad strike without collar, where the coin expands outward because the retaining collar fails, resulting in a wider, thinner penny with distorted lettering. If paired with another error such as off-metal composition, the value multiplies rapidly. There is also the legendary mule error possibility, where two mismatched dies from different denominations are paired together. While extremely rare, mule errors are among the most valuable coins in existence. If a 1974 penny mule were ever confirmed, it would instantly become world famous. And then we come to the Holy Grail scenario that pushes the story into the $39 million conversation, uniqueness combined with historical significance. If only one known example of a specific 1974 error exists, authenticated by major grading services, documented in numismatic literature, and desired by elite collectors, museums, and private investors, the bidding wars alone could drive prices into unimaginable territory. History has proven again and again that when wealthy collectors compete for a one-of-one coin, price becomes almost meaningless. The emotional power of owning something nobody else can have overrides logic. And that is how coins cross from thousands to millions to tens of millions. The 1974 penny story is also fueled by the psychology of treasure hunting. Because billions of these coins were made and most people still have them sitting in jars, boxes, drawers, and old collections, the idea that one single penny among them could be worth more than mansions, supercars, and private jets is irresistible, and that is why collectors constantly search rolls, estate sales, inherited collections, and old bank bags, hoping to spot a strange color, odd weight, unusual sound, or tiny design anomaly. The possibilities are what keep the legend alive, and every year new discoveries prove that the mint made more mistakes than anyone ever imagined. Professional authentication is critical because counterfeits and altered coins exist, but when a real error is found and confirmed, it becomes a piece of American history frozen in metal, a reminder that even systems designed for perfection are run by humans capable of error. And sometimes those errors create unimaginable value. The 1974 1-cent coin represents hope, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. It reminds us that wealth does not always come from banks or investments, but sometimes from knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. So the next time you see a simple penny, remember this story. Remember that a small coin can hold a massive secret. And if you love stories like this, hidden treasures, unbelievable values, and the real history behind everyday coins, make sure you stay connected with this channel. Subscribe, like, and share with fellow collectors, because the next coin we talk about might be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 1981 cent USA coin. Today we are diving into another mind-blowing American coin story that has stunned collectors and fueled treasure hunting dreams across the world. Because this time it is all about the 1981 cent USA coin, a penny that most people remember as common, boring, and nearly worthless, yet under extremely rare and specific conditions has been discussed, debated, and valued by elite collectors at figures reaching as high as $28 million, a number that sounds impossible until you understand the rare errors, production mistakes, transitional metal issues, and historical mint chaos that made such a coin possible. And to truly appreciate how a 1980 penny could ever reach such heights, we need to step back into the late 1970s and early 1980s, a time when the United States Mint was under immense pressure. Copper prices were rising fast, inflation was hitting hard, production demands were enormous, and internal experiments were quietly happening. Behind the scenes, pennies were still officially made of a copper alloy in 1980, but the mint was actively testing alternative metals because copper was becoming too expensive. This period of experimentation created the perfect environment for mistakes, wrong planchets, transitional errors, and metal composition anomalies that collectors dream of. The 1981 cent coin was struck at multiple mints including Philadelphia and Denver, and while billions were produced, rarity in numismatics is not about how many coins were made, it is about how many survived with a specific error, and in some cases how many exist at all. One of the most legendary possibilities surrounding the 1980 penny is the wrong metal strike error. Experimental aluminum planchets were being tested around this time, and while officially released aluminum cents were never issued for circulation, blanks existed within mint facilities. If a 1980 cent was accidentally struck on an aluminum planchet and escaped the mint, it would instantly become one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. Aluminum cents are already famous due to their experimental nature, and adding a circulating date like 1980 would push desirability into the stratosphere. Another extremely valuable possibility is a transitional bronze composition error. Pennies officially changed to zinc in 1982, but transitional errors have occurred in other years where the wrong metal was used before or after an official change. If a 1980 cent were struck on a non-standard bronze alloy or a leftover experimental blank, it would create a coin that should not exist according to official mint records. And coins that should not exist are exactly what drives 7- and 8-figure prices. Then there is the double die phenomenon, one of the most famous and dramatic error types. During die creation, if the hub and die are misaligned, the result is doubling on design elements such as the date, the word Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or Lincoln's facial features. A true double die is bold, separated, and visible without magnification, and a strong double die obverse or reverse on a 1980 penny would be a major numismatic event, especially if discovered in high mint state condition. Denver mint double dies are particularly rare, making any confirmed example even more valuable. Striking errors also play a massive role in value. Off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, broad strikes where the retaining collar fails causing the coin to spread wider than normal, and multiple strikes where the coin is struck more than once creating layered ghost images all add dramatic visual appeal. Collectors pay huge premiums for error coins that clearly show the minting mistake, and when those errors are combined with rarity and condition, the prices can skyrocket. Another powerful value driver is the wrong planchet error. If a 1980 penny was struck on a dime, nickel, or even foreign coin planchet, the size, weight, and composition would be incorrect. Such errors are immediately identifiable to experts, and when authenticated they become elite collectibles. Mule errors are another legendary category, where two mismatched dies from different denominations are paired together. Mule errors are among the rarest coins in existence, and while incredibly unlikely, the mere possibility of a 1980 cent mule keeps collectors searching, because history has proven that the impossible sometimes slips through. Quality control. Condition is everything at the highest levels of collecting. A heavily worn error coin may be valuable, but a mint state or proof like example with full luster, sharp strike, and no circulation marks can multiply value many times over. Top grading by major services combined with a population report showing only one known example can push a coin into multimillion-dollar territory. Provenance also matters. If a coin has a documented history of discovery, ownership, and auction appearances, it adds legitimacy and desirability. Wealthy collectors and investors do not just buy metal, they buy stories, history, and exclusivity. And the story of a single 1980 penny defying mint records and surviving unnoticed for decades is incredibly powerful. Another factor that fuels the $28 million discussion is the sheer psychology of competition. When two or more ultra-wealthy collectors want the same unique item, the price becomes secondary to winning. Auctions of unique coins have repeatedly shattered expectations because the bidders are not buying an object, they are buying the right to own something nobody else can ever have. The 1981 cent coin also benefits from its modern familiarity. Unlike ancient or obscure coins, everyone recognizes a Lincoln penny, which makes the transformation from 1 cent to millions even more dramatic and media-friendly. Stories like this spread fast, inspiring new collectors and bringing attention to the hobby. People begin checking their change, searching old jars, inherited collections, and bank rolls, hoping to spot an odd color, unusual weight, or strange design detail, and sometimes those searches pay off. Because history has shown that major discoveries still happen, the mint produced billions of coins and absolute perfection was impossible. Errors escaped, mistakes were spent, and some are still out there waiting to be found. Authentication is critical because altered coins and fakes exist, but when a genuine error is confirmed, it becomes a permanent part of numismatic history. The 1980 penny represents hope, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. It proves that knowledge can turn something overlooked into something extraordinary, and that value is not always obvious at first glance. So the next time you see a penny dated 1980, do not dismiss it, weigh it, listen to the sound it makes. Examine the details closely, because the smallest differences can mean the difference between pocket change and life-changing wealth. And if you love stories like this, unbelievable coin values, hidden errors, and the real history behind everyday money, make sure you stay connected with this channel, like, subscribe, and share with fellow collectors, because the next legendary coin we talk about might already be in your hands.